Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching. This is the first video for the Voter Directed Democracy audiobook. Please go ahead and like and subscribe. That would really help us out. We wanted to make these videos to ensure that the voter directed democracy political philosophy is as accessible as possible to all voters and future voters. This is one way we are trying to educate everyone about this innovative, radically inclusive, and evolutionary political idea. These videos will also help with the implementation of this pro voter, pro democratic republic and relentlessly anti authoritarian theory via voterdirectednetwork.com. All voters are always welcome. Please come check it out. That is voterdirectednetwork.com. This first video will cover two main things. First, we will go through the introduction of the book. I will read the actual book and then I will provide some commentary. The second part of this video will focus quickly on how to study this stuff, how to study political philosophy. If you are in high school or college, or this is your first time exploring political theory and political philosophy academically, I wanted to share just a few ideas about how to study and how to approach political theory. So often we are taught what to study, what information is important, but rarely are we taught how to study and how to approach specific types of knowledge and material. So I just wanted to share the study technique I was given, and it really helped me learn and retain knowledge through high school, college, and grad school. And I still use this technique today. I'm grateful for it. Alrighty, let's get started and jump into the text. Introduction. Thank you for picking up this book. To begin, I kindly ask that you take a moment to envision what you believe would be an ideal modern democracy. In other words, given modern society's ubiquitous and near constant access to incredible computing power and technology, how do you believe a modern democracy should function? How do you believe voters in a modern democratic republic should come together to determine the will of the people? How should elected officials behave once the will of the people is determined in a modern democracy? Voter directed democracy is my answer to these questions. This is my treatise on modern democratic republics. It is an essay on evolving and modernizing our flawed democracies. Voter directed democracy is a republic based democratic political philosophy specifically designed to empower all voters equally, reduce political corruption, and openly and transparently determine the will of the people at all levels of government. This book is divided into three parts. Part one, I've dedicated to explaining and unpacking the political philosophy of voter directed democracy. Part two is an explanation and outline of the various features included in the online platform called Voter Directed Network that we have developed to help implement voter directed democracy into society. The true success of any political theory is measured by implementation success. And this platform is the vehicle we have created to propel this idea forward, promote true political freedom, and evolve our current corrupt political systems. Part three is a detailed discussion of what I believe will be some of the systemic political changes and outcomes that occur when voter directed democracy is implemented and we collectively begin to evolve our flawed political systems. We will always be open to feedback about this political philosophy. Under the Contact tab on the Voter Directed Network platform, you can send us your responses, reflections, and reactions about the political philosophy. As you read, you will notice that various terms and phrases are bolded. These are important words that are clearly defined in the glossary at the end of the book. Some of these terms are used throughout the book, and they are only bolded the first time they appear. When anyone engages in meaningful political discussion, it is essential that we have clear definitions for the words we are using in order to engage in productive conversations and communicate ideas effectively. These are my definitions of these words that I am using in this context. Please reference these definitions as you read. Also, unless otherwise specified, when I use the words we or our in this book, I'm referring to all eligible voters in any democratic political system at any level of government. Thank you again for taking time to read about how to modernize and evolve democracy. The most important details about the idea of voter directed democracy are in part one of this book. The details about the online tool to reduce political corruption and support daily political collaboration at all levels of government that voters can use to collectively determine the will of the people are in part two of this book. A vision for a modern and evolved democracy is in part three of this book. Respectfully, Alexander Valiency Kent. Alrighty, some quick comments about the introduction of the book. First, there are really important questions right at the beginning of the book. Those questions really frame the whole process and this whole journey of political evolution via voter directed democracy on voter directed network. Answering those questions is also just a fun and really inspiring thought experiment. We are all on the internet so much now, and there are so many different platforms that connect us in so many different ways. We all have this baseline understanding about how the internet can be used to connect us. Ask yourself, what would your online platform to modernize and evolve democracy, reduce political corruption, and openly and transparently determine the will of the people for all issues at all levels of government look like? What would it do? Answering those questions is literally where all of this started for me, and it's where I start the book, and it's what is listed on the back of the book. And that's because improving democracy is my passion. It's the only way we're going to reduce systemic human suffering. And I believe doing that benefits all of us in so many different ways. Also, part one is by far the most important part. Those 55 pages are all you really need to understand the voter directed philosophy and how it will work. It's the full political theory in just those 55 pages. So, if that's all the time you have in our busy lives and you really just want to understand the idea in its full depth, all you have to do is read those 55 pages. It's right there for you. Part two is like reading the manual of a new appliance or power tool. It's good, it's helpful, it answers a lot of questions many people have about voter directed network. But the best way to really know any tool or appliance is to put it in your hands and have a direct, real experience with it. Same thing with VDN. You can read about it, you should read about it, but to really know how it works, you need to make an account. So please join us. All voters are always welcome on Voter Directed Network. Always. And part three is a wonderful, positive, and inspiring thought experiment. It essentially answers, what do we think will happen to our political system and politics in general when we collectively choose as voters to modernize and evolve our democratic republics with voter directed democracy on voter directed Network. The glossary is essential and so useful. Studying any glossary of terms is also a good study technique. It's a great way to deepen your understanding of the material. And if you know the definitions of the words, you are literally halfway to fully understanding the material, and reading the actual text after reading through and understanding the definitions is much easier. Please read and use the glossary. All right, how to study political philosophy. This is the best technique I know how to study any text. I learned it in high school. Shout out to my first philosophy professor, Dr. Steve Goldberg. He was great for so many reasons, and he really took the time to explain a good way to study this material. Essentially, it's a really basic 3-step process that is specifically designed to understand the text and retain knowledge. There it is for you, the 3-step study process. Really basic, really simple. I'll talk through it. Read and pause, read and take notes, read as needed. All right, step 1, read and pause. You read a portion, not a lot, depending on your understanding and the difficulty of text. Maybe you read a paragraph, maybe 2, at most a page, and then pause. Take a moment to ask yourself, do I understand what I just read? Do I understand those terms that are being used? Do I understand the relationship or the thing being described in the text? If yes, keep reading. If no, read it again. This is all about giving your brain a chance to catch up and understand. Your brain has never read what you are reading before. So just give it a chance to fully digest this brand new text, and its philosophy text tends to be a little dense. And this will allow you to build your understanding as you read. Step 2, read and take notes. There are 2 main theories on note taking: within the text or separate from the text. So you're making notes inside the text in the book or on the computer if the software lets you, or you're taking notes on a piece of paper or on your phone or on your laptop next to it, in the text or next to the text. Both of those work fine. The goal is just to make the text accessible to you at a glance, to understand the text quickly. Whatever feels right to you and makes sense to you is right for you. That's just what I think. That's because your notes are meant for you. So, whatever helps you understand and access the knowledge quickly at a glance will work. Step 3, read as needed. Pivot back to the text when you need to or when you want to. When you are studying for a test or writing a paper, or maybe you're about to jump into a comment section online. Just pivot back and access the text as needed. Whatever you need from the text when you're studying or when you're about to comment something should easily be accessible to you and you can find it quickly. Remember, you already read it at least once with pauses, then you read it again and took notes. So if you need to pivot back to the information a third time, it should jump out to you and be really accessible to you. And that's it. With that, video 1 of this audiobook is coming to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share, please comment, do all of the things depending on whatever platform you're watching this on. We really appreciate that. More importantly, please join Voter Directed Network. All voters are always welcome. We are so excited about this political evolution of voter directed democracy on Voter Directed Network, and we need you. We need you to help us modernize and evolve democracy. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the network.